Okie dokie. Oh boy. Okay, okay, there we go. I thought my tablet died. Let me see. Uh, okay, let me just organize everything. Actually, let me make everything into a new layer. Miku question mark. Oh boy. Yeah, no, I just doodled basically at random. And I'm trying to sort everything out now. I'm not even sure what some of this stuff is. Okay, now let me see. Uh, okay, let's actually. Yeah, okay, so. Kobo eating Ollie's hair is this. So we can put that all together, move it over there. This was only one of them. The other one was going to be Ollie freaking out that her hair had been eaten. We can still do that one. Uh, okay, so we still need to do that one, so that one can go on top. I want to do Roboco sleeping and charging, which I thought was actually really clever for coming up with. And then her shorts popped up, and there was quite a few of these there. Yeah, we have ones and zeros instead of the Z's. Although I guess that should be more wavy like that. So we what if Fuwawa had a tiny hat and a monocle and mustache? That's an interesting idea. If I started taking ideas, I would be adding to a giant pile of things to do. Okay, so, but yeah, I'll take that under consideration. This one is Hope Descending. So it's gonna be Iris T-posing on everyone. I don't know, so something like that. We'll sort everything out shortly. Idea Bebo, and she's wearing a ghost costume. Mm, that does remind me of I need to come up with Halloween ideas. I think last year I did Ollie and Kiara sitting on pumpkins. Although we do know this year's Christmas idea, although that's still a long ways off. And that'll be Christmas or Santa bikinis. Though I'm not honestly 100% sure what that means. Uh, okay, I like this one. This is Hatsune Miku, but her hair comes off. You know, little Lego style haircut. Although honestly, we should just pick one and then do that. So let's do that. Uh, don't even know what this one is. Oh, I think it's that dang, is it a Kanye West meme? You know, kind of shaking your head at something and then pointing the finger at something else. This one's gonna be Fuwawa and pizza, or I guess and pineapple. Don't know what that one is. Don't know what that one is. This is another one of the mean ones that I'm probably not gonna do. What the heck is this? Okay, before we pick one, I did want to take a look at this. Okay, so this is why we should be organized with our layers. Uh, that way you're not looking at 50 of them wondering what the heck anything is. Okay, yeah, I did want to... Dang, I did want to redo this wall, but I'm not actually sure what that would look like. Okay, so this is just supposed to be a wall, and these are kind of supposed to be like those foam soundproofing panels, but I don't know if that's what it looks like. Although I'm honestly just gonna pick something from the sketches and just do that. I feel like I've drawn iris before. We can do that one. Although I have learned something important, and that's to actually pick something before you start streaming. Good to know, good to know. I don't know if this is any better actually. Okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this one. Create a new folder labeled ideas. Put everything else there. I lost the folder. Oh no, there it is. Okie dokie, there we go. So I never really liked the sketching stage. Does that feel like a T-pose? Your drawings are very cute. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's chibis specifically aren't something I'm super good at. So this whole thing is just me trying to get better at them. Oh boy. Yeah, my second monitor is pretty small and I have like 3 windows up on it. And I can only see like half of everything. Okay, there we go. I have my reference pulled up. So we're gonna fix the sketch up a little and then just go into the line art. Although actually, speaking of cute drawings, if you want to see something that's finished, this is the next video I'm working on, and I feel like I did a really good job at capturing Gigi. Let me just erase the stuff I'm not using. Oh boy. Oh boy. In case you're wondering what making a video look like, it's basically this. Just a mess of layers. Yeah, so check this out. And something that I'm doing is I'm switching out these 2 layers constantly just to give her like really animated looking eyes. Yeah, so I feel like this captures the energy quite well. And here's the different mouths. Yeah, and I think this one came out a lot better than the Cecilia one. Yeah, but I guess you'll see it soon enough. Okie there's the sketch. Now we clean it up just a bit. Probably shouldn't be so much silence. Uh, let me see. Yeah, okay, so I'm not super good at line art, so I'm trying not to worry about it so much. Also, VTuber clothing tends to be pretty complicated. So I'm trying to simplify it the best I can. Although sometimes that means that mm, it means that proportions end up looking kind of weird. But let's see if we can fix that. Is this a proper T-pose? Maybe we can just skip the belt. Let's see. Okay, this is looking pretty okay. Yeah, I'm trying to be better with my layers and just kind of breaking things up. So, if I need to erase a lot, then I'm not erasing everything. Though I have drawn Iris a few times now, and her hair still confuses me, if I'm being honest. Oh boy. Okay, this looks more like she's yawning. Okie dokie, that looks pretty okay. I do want to fix her face though. Maybe the top of her hair doesn't look super straight. Maybe that's better. Well, the other benefit of splitting up your layers is a short hair iris would also look kind of good. Pretty sure that's already a thing though with one of her outfits. Yeah. Okay, now let's see if we can make the face look less like it's sleeping. Mm, this is absolutely adorable. Thank you. Yeah, no, I thought it'd be pretty cute. I don't know. I just wanted Iris T posing on everyone. That's basically my creation process. I have a random idea and I'm like, yeah, that works. And then I work on it till it's good enough. Yeah, eventually I'll go from chibis into more complicated stuff. Right now, this is just something I'm trying to get better at. Although I feel like every other day I see someone else's chibis and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cute. Why don't I try doing some of that? And I end up changing what everything looks like. That's why I'm posting like 3 different sorts of things. You know, there's the small ones with the big eyes like this. There's the more proportionate ones that I'm doing right now with the kind of scribbly eyes, which I think looks pretty good. Uh, and the scribbly eyes came from kind of the more dot eye. And the only reason I started doing that, if I'm being super honest, is because I didn't want to color eyes anymore. But yeah, we're almost done with this. Can you draw Blackpink? That's quite the leap from Hololive to Blackpink. Uh, honestly, honestly, probably not right now, but whenever I go from doing chibis to doing more studies, as I'm trying to get more portraits done, I do plan on using real life references. So we could probably draw some Blackpink then. But that might not be for a bit if I'm being honest. How long have you been practicing to get this good? Uh, well, I've been drawing for I think over 10 years. Although something that I've never been good at and never will get good at is line art. And I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, hey, but this looks pretty good. And it does look better than what it used to look, but I've kind of given up on line art, and I've just, because the way that I paint usually gets rid of line art. So I decided that it hasn't been super important. So for example, we kind of get messy lines. Something that I discovered recently is we don't need to do clean lines. We can just kind of go with something messy. What I need is a clear shape of what something is gonna look like. And then usually I kind of go over here and I kind of paint the lines away. And then I get rid of the edges with some oh boy, with some shading, so the lines aren't a big deal, but that's just me and how I decided that I want to do things. I'm using Clip Studio. It's on sale right now, I think. But the other software I like to use is Krita, and that's free, although it does not run super good on some computers in my experience. But yeah, I'd go with Krita or Clip Studio as far as drawing software goes, unless you have an iPad, in which case Procreate is the best there. I'm too late. I'm too lazy to clean all my lines. Same, yeah. Yeah, no, I've done a lot of super messy stuff, honestly. I've learned to accept it. I don't have the patience either for super clean line art. And my tablet keeps dying, so I have to disconnect it and reconnect it. Well, speaking of being too lazy to clean up line art, I think we're basically done with the line art. There we go. Okay. Have you found your art style yet? Okay, I've been thinking about this lately. Uh, okay, it is something that just comes naturally. Your style is it's just what your stuff looks like. But at some point, you do kind of have to make a conscious decision on what you want things to look like. Let me see if I can bring up my art, for example. Yeah, so this is stuff that I've drawn, just waiting for it to load. Okay, so for example, I can draw different ways, the same thing different ways. So as far as chibis are concerned, you have something like this, you have something like this, uh, and then you have something like this. So I can do all three. And normally you end up liking one way to do things better, or how one thing looks in the end, and you kind of choose on that. Well, the most important thing that I have found is you have to find a process that makes sense, if that makes sense. Because there's many different ways to go about doing something. And if you're trying to brute force a way that ultimately doesn't make sense to you or your brain, you're just going to be wasting a lot of time. Have I tried different brushes? Well, right now I'm using Clip Studio's default Rio G pen, which is just a basic one with a little bit more texture to it. I think it looks better, especially for these sorts of scribbly eyes that I've been doing. I really like how this looks. And I have tried many, many different brushes over the years. But honestly, lately I've been kind of defaulting back to the classic. I've been making friends with the hard round brush. And as far as line art goes, I'm actually about to try making friends with its cousin, the G pen. I found that if I use messy brushes, it's textured brushes, my messy liner has more sense or looks more like. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I found the same thing a few years back, and so I got this guy Keenan Lafferty's his what's it called, his chalk brush. It's something that he uses a lot. He's a YouTuber, and he has a YouTube channel called the KNKL Show, and it's something that he uses a lot, and it's something that I think looks super good. And he has this way of doing lines that's super messy, that I thought looked really good, and I wanted to try out. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Uh, and the texture's super good, but let me bring up something else. Okay, this isn't the best example. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry to bring up this example. Uh, yeah, let's do this one. Okay, so something else that I found is I kind of want to get away from doing the textures, because with my messy line art, like you said, it ends up having to do a lot of overpainting, and a lot of fixing up a little of these annoying looking scribbles at the end of my lines. So I'm trying to also doing things in a textured way. Kind of, I don't know if it's noticeable, but I kind of want my things to look smoother and more vivid, I guess. So I'm trying to get away from the texture line myself, but I have been using it for many, many years. So I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm trying to do a lot less of the cleaning of the edges and a lot of fixing up a little things after the fact. So that's why I'm trying to switch to a harsher brush, just to kind of uh, make more shapes that make sense, I guess. Yeah, so that was one of the portraits I was talking about. Eventually, we'll switch from chibis to doing those, and we'll try to get better at those. Really good artworks, thank you. Yeah, that's just something that a few things that I've done recently. I've been getting a lot of drawing done lately. And that's been super nice. Let me see if I want to bring this up. Yeah, okay. So this is an example of the smoother shading that I really like and I've been trying to do. This was not done with the clean with the clean line brush. As you can see over here, it's super messy and not very well defined, and I ended up having to erase a lot of it. And I don't like doing that, is what I've discovered. Yeah, so I drew this within the past few weeks, I think, maybe last month, 2 months ago. Dang. And I just kind of like how, everything's kind of harsh and it's more vivid, and how there's not too many things to fix up. So I'm trying to get harsher and more vivid, and yeah, just trying to get away from all of this and this and this and this, just kind of stuff that I have to fix up after the fact that I think is a little annoying. Not good at backgrounds and compositions. Neither am I. This was a lot of guesswork on my end. I also need to do more background studies. Anyway, back to this. You have to decide which parts need to stand up more. Yeah, that's true. Mm, mm, I see. You're talking about as far as compositioning goes. Yeah. That's true. You do have to decide where you want the viewer, or I guess the camera, to draw its eye to. And there is a lot to it that kind of needs figuring out. So I do agree with you. It is something that I need to improve on as well. Anyway, we can finally start coloring. This is another area where clean or cleanish line art comes in handy. Hello. Can I just check? You guys know who this is, right? Should I be explaining things? Did you use that pink ice cream tool? The pink ice cream? You mean this? I don't think it's pink ice cream. I think it's a magic wand. It's the auto selection tool. So I set it to all layers, and then I select everything outside, and then I select the parts inside that are actually outside. And then I inverted it, and now I have selected everything inside. Just a very quick and easy way to mask everything, assuming you have clean or cleanish line art, which I do not always. I've noticed a lot of people use Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, yeah, it's good. Honestly, that's why it's good. It's good. Something that I've noticed lately that I'm pretty sure is a newish addition is you can actually import Photoshop brushes, which used to not be the case. You know, it's on sale right now, so it goes on sale for pretty cheap. Or I guess I should say very affordable. Pink ice cream. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. This is the only pink thing here, and it's just the icon for the pencils. I mean, it's a good name, pink ice cream, if you want to call it that, but I'm just not sure we're talking about the same thing. But we can finally start the line, the coloring, I mean. This point for the chibis, normally I shamelessly color pick. But that's not what I'm doing right now. Actually, if I'm gonna do it this way, I'm gonna have the colors in a different layer so I can easily fix it later. Yeah, so this would be another benefit to the clean line art if I ever get there. I could just, in theory, do that. So the layers, yeah, just do that. In theory, whether it would work out that nicely, I'm not super sure. Mm, yeah, no, there's a lot of VTubers. I completely understand choosing and picking your favorites. I tend to watch a lot of clips, just clips and animations. And then I usually just have something playing. If not playing, then music or one of the karaoke streams in the background while I'm drawing. Because I end up sitting here for for quite a few hours a day, and it's nice to just have something basically endless in the background. So I end up seeing through a lot. The most of what I do is I end up going back and watching archives of stuff. Like right now, I'm watching Pecora play through Dark Souls. What program do you use? I've done one or two of them on just the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and I'm trying out Moho, I think is how it's pronounced, which is a lot of money. So maybe that's not my first recommendation. I'm trying out different programs at the moment. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think you need all the features of Moho to do what I'm doing. Sometimes I get lazy and I started doing everything on the same layer. That's how I used to draw, actually. Everything on the same layer. I did the line art and then I start painting over it. Yeah, because honestly, having all the layers just ends up confusing me. So at some point, if not earlier than later, I combine all the layers and I just go from there. Only two layers needed. Yeah, eventually. Eventually. Just trust the process. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you in spirit. But the process, or specifically me, has failed me on more than one occasion. So at some point, it's nice to adjust the process as well. Cute Irish drawing. Yeah, thank you. She's T-posing. That's too dark. Okay, and now we play the fun game of, do any of these colors look right? Let me clean my glasses. They get very smudgy and I can't see anything. Hmm. Okay, yeah, they look pretty good. They look pretty good. Those are some colors I used. They make sense. Let me adjust them slightly. Make this redder. Make this more purplyish. Color the flowers. Make those redder. Yeah, her hair's kind of purplish. You know, it gets very lightish purplish in some areas, I think. I think. Maybe. I know some of their hair does. And she has a lot of purple shading on her clothing. Not sure how we can add that. Without changing things too much. Maybe do that. It doesn't look too weird. Now, something that you have to do with these chibis is you kind of have to simplify things. You can't just draw everything as it is. Because if I'm drawing a lot of these, I don't want to, spend so much time just doing everything perfectly. Why isn't your PC crashing? I have a fairly okay PC, although it does, on occasion, randomly reset. On occasion. And that's nothing to do with the layers. Although these layers are actually all the previous drawings that I did. Let me see. Yeah, so this is what we're working on now. This is my idea ones that I sorted out earlier. Uh, I guess this is what my sketches look like. This is Iris right here. This is what we started out with an hour ago, I guess. This is the Canada crying. This is the the cleaning one I did some time ago. 3D model to try to figure out the proportions and some sketches. Crony taking a relaxing bath and having a small snack. The sketch. This is it's Fuawa when I thought she made a tweet. This is cute. We might do this later actually. So we can take this, put it in the idea folder. I don't know what this is honestly. Mokoko. This, this is gonna be Anby from Senna Zone Zero eating a burger. This was the same sketch I used for a different thing. Yeah, just eating a burger. Giant burger. And I guess she will look kind of more like this. And we can add these for good measure. This is Laplace getting stuck on the ceiling. Oops. This is Laplace jumping on the trampoline before she got stuck on the ceiling. This is, do I have it here? No, I don't. Yeah, I do. This is, while we're trying to tickle Mokoko. This is after the fact. She's got these big old claws, and she ended up scratching Mokoko all over. I thought it was funny. I still think it's funny. This one's based on a short from Hololive, I guess. Yeah, that one. This is one of the first ones I did. I don't think it needs explanation. It is what it is. Oh, that was the first one, actually. And now we're here. I'm seeing she's a little slanted, actually. Do I want to... I can just do this. From here. Cute overload? Yeah, yeah, sure. Take your time. Yeah, that's better. So if I waited to do this until all the layers were combined, then I could just fix things fairly easily for the most part. Oops. There we go. Yeah, so these are just fairly straightforward, so I'm not worried too much about making them perfect. Oh boy. But yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done. At least with this one. Let me see what's left. The halos. That's just white. For the top ones, and then black for the bottom ones. Do I want to add blush? Are we done? Is this it? don't normally add too much shading to these. But I don't know if this feels done. Mm, this doesn't feel like it's making any difference. That's okay. I don't know if I want to erase the line completely, or if I just want to do this. Okay, well this feels pretty done. I think that's good. I might take a look at it later. For example, these arms don't feel super even. I feel like that's the only thing that's needs doing though. Yeah, so there are benefits to just having a few layers, and that's not really having to worry about fixing things in general like this. Because then I have to find the line art and add more line art. And then you have these little artifacts right here. Something that I'm debating is actually whether or not I want to color this. Color the lines, I mean. So far I've been against it, but maybe not the mouth. Yeah, no, we'll skip it. We'll skip it. Yeah, so here it is. It just needs a few tweaks and maybe a different background. Not super sure what yet. I'll do that later. It'll only take a few minutes, something like that, maybe. It's supposed to be Hope Descending. Yeah, so I'll take a look at that later. Now we get to pick another idea. Let me see. Okay, so this one's done. Is that the only thing there? No, it isn't. Okay, so this is a fun game I like to call Decision Paralysis. And very messy sketches. Let me see. Why don't we sketch them out a little more and then decide? Okay, so let's start with this one. Okay, so this is just supposed to be a little chibi at work drawing something. Now I'm drawing a lot of Hololive right now, so I do want to keep it as Hololive. So we have to ask ourselves the important question of who's doing the drawing. So we have a few choices. The first one that came to mind was, of course, Gigi for some reason. I'm not sure why, but this is just the first thing that occurred to mind. She just seems like she has a can-do attitude, where she would be drawing something even if she doesn't draw. So that's certainly a choice. But I like to take these moments to draw people that I usually haven't gotten the chance to draw yet. So the other choice is actually EOFE. Uh, which does sound kind of cute now that I think about it. Gonna have the hair going behind the arm. Second wisp over here. Let me see. It goes to the waist about, so like that. Whatever this is called. Painting easel. Hmm. And now the expression. Okay, she's actually surprisingly straightforward. Overalls. Below the knee, so that's here maybe? That gives us no room for legs. That's okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cute. Okay. But is that the position we want? Oh boy. Just gonna copy the whole thing. Gonna combine the whole thing actually. Now we do want her drawing with the pen, but I don't know if I want the pen to be covering her up. Hmm. That's also covering her up, but not as much. Is that what we want? No, I guess not. I didn't want to cover it up, so that's actually why we had this one going. But this one's not drawing. So I might have to look up some references of how this might look later. You know, but this is what we have so far. Drawing. Yep. Now the second idea is Roboco. Looking all cute. Yeah, that's it basically. I'm not 100% set on the expression, but maybe her eyes are more closed. Like this. Let me look up a reference. Yeah, okay. So this one is supposed to be a more proportionate one. So not a chibi. Although I am gonna draw it as a chibi first. Just because I do think it's cute. Let me see. There we go. Okay, I do want the jacket. The giant jacket. And her shoulders are actually exposed in it. Hmm. Okay, this one might need more work later. I'm not 100% sure what this is supposed to look like. Something like that, basically. We shall see. Hmm. Well, the actual version we wanted to do is something like this. So we might just end up doing this one instead. I just have to find the reference later. You know, but just so I don't forget. Although we have a third choice, actually. And that's a taller, more proportionate chibi. That could be kind of cute. Okay. Hmm. And then nice round glasses. Yeah, okay. Something like that. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Um, right now. Oh, wait. Let me name it. It's already named. Ooh, okay, so the next one is probably either this one or this one, which is just Roboko-san sleeping. Yep. So the basic idea is she is sleeping, she is charging. And she's just kind of slumped up against the wall or something. Or maybe she's sitting. She could be sitting. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, I guess in her basic outfit. Hello. Just sketching out the next thing that I want to draw. Although I don't think that I'll be sketching in the future. I'll just I'll make stuff that I want to I'll sketch things out you know, on my own time, and then I'll just draw them out if I do stream again. We'll see. We'll see. Here to about here. That looks nothing like her, but okay. Sweater. Something like this. Ones and zeros, ones and zeros. Yes, I just gotta figure out what this is supposed to look like. And fix her hair, because that doesn't really look like her. Okay, these three actually do look pretty good. Maybe I do all three. Maybe, we'll see. But I'm doing this one and Eophi drawing first. And here's the iris that we managed to finish. And while I have some of you guys here, do me a favor. Does this look okay? It's supposed to be a closet, a small closet with no chair and a single desk and a computer and a mic. That's a mic. Uh, oops, oops, oops. This is why it's important to name your layers. It's one of these. Yeah, that one. Okay. So this is supposed to be a closet, and these are supposed to be sound panels on the closet. Now, apparently the clothing is supposed to be there for sound dampening, but I am still obligated to draw a background that makes sense. Does this make sense? Does this look good? We could color the lines to make it more of a, I don't know, more of a pattern on the wall sort of thing. That's fine. Yeah, but some details would be nice. Oh, this is for the next video. It's actually already finished. I just wanted to redo the background. Yeah, so ignore the eldritch horror that is Gigi here. But this is Gigi and Cecilia, mostly Cecilia, talking about Gigi's working conditions, which is apparently the closet of Gigi. So this is just there to kind of be a background. Not too much attention is needed on it. I just wanted it to not look super basic. The clothing is more of a joke that happens later. Yeah, so this is kind of what it actually looks like. So there'll be dialogue and subtitles popping up at the bottom, so your attention won't even be in the background. I just wanted to make it look a little bit nicer because there is actually one more background. Uh, get rid of these, get rid of that, and this. And this one, the background on this one is not so finished. And this is basically what it looked like before I fixed it up some more. So as long as it doesn't look like this, I think it's a net gain. Mm. Yeah, okay. So we're net gainers. So let's leave it at that. Here's the iris we just did. I think it's finished. Might fix one or two things on it and then post it somewhere eventually. Today, I mean. And then we figured out some of the new sketches we're gonna do. Let me see. Yeah, so this is what we're gonna do next eventually. Eofi drawing. I thought it'd be cute. It is cute. Roboco's one of her outfits. Not sure what it's called, but there's a short that was very cute. And I thought I'd draw it. So here we are, 3 ideas potentially of how I want to do it. All very cute. Might do all 3 of them. We'll see. And then there's Roboco sleeping. Yeah, I wasn't gonna mention it, but thank you. And then there's Roboco sleeping, which doesn't really look like her, so we're gonna fix that up. Uh, but that will have to wait for some other day, in some other time, because I think this is it for the day. This is my warm up for today before I start working on other stuff, and I think it came out pretty well. Yeah, okay, so probably gonna end it there. Thanks for joining me. Mm, well, the last thing I'll say is the only thing this is missing is a person that gets T-posed on. Maybe we'll do this one later. Yeah, a person that gets T-posed on. I wonder who that could be. Yeah, let's see. Okay, bye-bye.